Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly take a look at the Butterfly Garden. This game is for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, and the average play time is 20 to 40 minutes. Now I'm not going to go over every single rule in the rulebook today, but I will give you a brief overview, just to give you an idea of what the game is like. As far as what the components look like, well, you can see some of them are out already. I have it set up for 3 players, but here's a look at the rulebook. It's very nice and colorful, very helpful. And the game is fairly simple. Basically, the general idea here is that you're going to get butterfly cards, which there's butterfly cards here. Each player starts with a hand of 3 butterflies, and there's a number in the upper left-hand corner, and that'll come into play a little bit later. But basically, what you're going to be doing every turn is picking a butterfly from your hand to put face down in front of you. Everyone's going to do that. Then they're going to flip them face up. And then they're going to resolve any special actions, put that butterfly in their jar, and then over the course of rounds, players will have a number of butterflies in their jar. Once players have enough butterflies in their jar to meet the requirements of these delivery cards over here, they can go ahead and discard those butterfly cards in order to earn victory points. And the first player to reach the victory point goal will signal the round's, the game-ending condition. Players will finish out that round, and whoever has the most victory points will win. There's a little chart in the back of the manual right here that shows you how many victory points you'll need depending on how many people are playing the game. It's also worth noting that the setup and the rules are slightly different for 2 players, but I have it set up for a 3-player game right now. Anyway, so to set up the game, basically you're going to take the butterfly deck, you're going to shuffle those up and deal a hand of 3 cards to each player. They have the blue backs here. And then you're going to put 3 out like this, 1 for each player in the game. So if there are 4 players, there'd be 4 here. If there were 5 players, it'd be 5 here, and so on and so forth. Then you've got your delivery cards over here. You're going to deal 1 face up for each player minus 1. So in a 3-player game, you're going to deal 2 cards. 3 minus 1 is 2. But you're also going to take 1, you're going to deal 1 from the deck, and put it on top so players can see what's coming up. You can't actually get this delivery card. You can't spend your butterflies to get this delivery card yet, but you can actually see what's coming. And the rest of the deck is face down, so you can't accidentally see what's coming behind that card. Alright, and that's basically how setup works. You've got these special cards here to remind you of what you can do on your turn. You've got special actions that are on some of these cards, and it's very helpful. And then your jar, of course. And then any butterflies that you do put in your jar, you can just simply slide sideways underneath your jar like that. Alright, so let's just run through a quick turn. On your turn, like the very first part of the round, what you're going to do is you're going to pick a card from your hand. And the lowest number, whenever every card is revealed, goes first. So we're going to take a look here at these cards. Now, some of them have special actions. They're listed in the upper right-hand corner. This one simply means that you're going to put this into your victory point pile, bypassing your jar altogether. So if you were to play this card on the table face down and then reveal it, whenever your turn comes around, based on the order of the numbers here, it's lowest to highest. So, whenever you got to your turn, you would simply put this in your jar, or not in your jar, but in your victory point pile, bypassing your jar altogether. Normally, butterflies that you play out like that go into your jar. But anyway, let's go ahead and choose, like, say, 28. Well, first of all, let's take a look at the delivery cards and see what we need. We need a green one, and now this little gray one here means that it can be any color. So to get this one, we just need green and a gray. Now luckily, this player here has like a green and a purple kind of thing going, so they may want to play this card. This rainbow one can be a wild of any color, so rainbows, are kind of useful that way. Alright, so I think we'll play the 28 face down. This player here is going to take a look at his cards. Okay, this is 4 victory points. Actually, let's do that one. Let's just say that this player says, you know what, I really want the victory points right away. So he's going to play that one face down. And then this player over here is going to take a look at his cards. He's got a lot of low numbers here, which is good. Unfortunately, he's got a yellow one here, he's got a yellow one here, and he's got a red and a green one. The red and the green one might serve well for this delivery card over here. This other one, worth 8 victory points, requires a yellow, a green, and 3 of these of any color. So, he has a choice to make. What is he going to do? Well, I guess he can play this one, this 26. Do that, face down. Actually, let's put it over here. Alright, so then once players pick a card, they're going to go ahead and reveal them all at the same time, like I was saying. Alright, so Now, the lower number goes first. In this case, that player over there has a 26. They get to go first, 28 and 55. So what the round or the turn order is, and that's where this card comes in handy, it says take a butterfly card and put it in your hand. So you get to choose which one you want here. There's a 58, a 25, and a 54. Having the lower number will allow you to have, a lot of choices, whereas the player going last, will just have the one card more than likely. So he says, well, this 58 has 3 butterflies on it. This 25 has 2 butterflies on it. It's red and... Actually, no. This one's actually a good one because this 25 is semi-low. It's, and it also has a green and a yellow butterfly on it. And that actually would meet the requirements of either card here. So he's going to go ahead and take that one, put it into their hand. And then after that, you're going to perform a special action, if any. Again, special actions are listed in the upper right-hand corner of the card. He has none, so he's going to skip that step. Next, you're going to add a butterfly card played from phase 1 into your jar. So he's going to take this butterfly card and put it into his jar. So he's just going to simply do something like this to indicate that he has 2 butterflies. You could have a maximum of 8 butterflies in your jar. After that, you have to start discarding cards. Right now, he has 2. 1, 2. All right. So there's that. And then after that, you can deliver butterflies. This is an optional step. You may not have the butterflies necessary to do it, but he's got a red and a green. He may go ahead and do this one because he needs a red and a green. This one is black, meaning it could be, well, I don't know if it's black or it has question marks all over it and it's got a gray color to it, so that's like any color. So he could, in theory, discard this card here, use the red as the any color and the green as the green, and take this card. He can put that into his delivery pile and he gets 5 victory points. And he can discard this one. So he's going to go ahead and just put that, say, back here as a discard pile. And that was his turn. Now, this delivery deck is not refreshed until the end of the round here. So, players going last may not be able to deliver anything because there's nothing available to them. In a 2-player game, by the way, the deliveries rules are slightly different. You do get 2 delivery cards, 1 for each player, but they're separated in between the deck. Like, one goes on one side, one goes on the other side. And the first player gets to deliver to both, or has the option of delivering from one or the other, whereas the second player can only deliver to the card closest to them. So that sort of encourages players to go first if they can, to have more options when delivering cards. But anyway, getting back to this, now the person with the 28 gets to go, and they're going to do the same thing. In this case, he's got a green and a purple. Now, unfortunately, the other player here delivered the card he was looking at. I mean, he would have been able to deliver that card. He had a green and a purple, and that purple could have served as the wild card, so to speak. So he can't really do much with this. So he's just going to put this into his jar. Actually, first he has to pick a card from here and then put it in his jar. So he's going to take a look at this and say, 58 and 54. They're both high numbers, but they've got a lot of butterflies on them. Which one do I want? Well, he sees coming up, there's one that you can see, like, this is a special one here. It says 4 wilds on it. So, yeah, it's basically all of the same color. I believe that's how that is. Let me check the rulebook just to make sure that that's right. 4 of a kind. Okay, yeah. So it's basically 4 butterflies of the same color. So he knows that's coming up. He has a green and a purple one that he's about to put into his jar. So maybe he might want another green one, if he can find. Yeah, there's a green one here, red and yellow. So he's going to go ahead and take this one, put it into his hand, and do that. And then he's going to go ahead and take the special action, if any, which there's no special action up here. Third one, he's going to put this into his jar like so. And then finally, deliver butterflies. Well, there's nothing he can deliver right now, so he's going to skip that. Finally, this player gets to go. So he's going to go ahead and take a card from the pool here, and unfortunately, there's only one left. Has 3 butterflies on it, as you can see. He's going to add that to his hand. You should always have 3 cards in your hand at the end of the round. If you don't, you've done something wrong. So after that, you're going to go ahead and perform any special action. Now, this special action says, basically, deliver this card directly to your victory point pile, bypassing your jar. And you can see that because it has 4 victory points listed. So this one's going to go right to his victory point pile, 4 victory points, and bada bing. So add a butterfly card. Yeah, done. Deliver butterflies. He can't really deliver anything because he has nothing in his jar. And that's that. And that is the first round. So you're going to refresh everything here. 1, 2, 3. And then you're also going to refresh this. Again, it's the number of delivery cards per player, -1. And then you're going to flip one face up so you can see what's coming up next. So, and that's basically it. Players are going to continue taking turns until someone meets the victory point requirement, like I was saying, and then you're going to finish out that round, and whoever has the most victory points will win. Okay, so there you go. That was a quick look at the Butterfly Garden. Once again, I didn't cover all of the rules found in the manual, but that should give you the highlights. One thing I really like is that the game supports up to 6 players. So if you have a full family, this game is a great casual / medium strategic game for you. I say casual in the sense that it's very easy to play, the rounds are very easy to play out, but it's strategic in the sense that you really have to pay attention to the numbers that you're playing. The low numbers in the deck, just to grab a few here, like the 3, for example, low number, so you have a very good chance of going first if you were to play that card face down, but it only has 1 butterfly on it, so that butterfly is going to go into your jar and that's it. It's not going to really help you make deliveries, at least not right away. But whereas the higher cards, like 40, there's 3 of them on there, but more than likely you'll go last if you happen to choose that card. This 57 here has a special ability on it and has 1 rainbow butterfly. So yeah, there is some strategy in the cards that you pick whenever you're putting cards face down. And there's also a little bit of strategy. If you're good at memorizing numbers, you can sort of keep track of what other players are trying to do. For example, if this player has a lot of butterflies in their jar, and they take a 3 in the last round, or something like that, or 2, or 1, then the other players can assume, you know what, more than likely this player is going to play that 3, try to go first, and get first dibs on these delivery cards over here. So these guys over here might play something high, like a 55, which guarantees them victory points. And because they know they're not going to go first, they're not going to get first dibs, so they may play something high for a special ability or just to get rid of a junk card that they don't want. So, that is, some strategy involved there. One thing I didn't show you, there are these optional score cards over here. They're 2-sided, 15, 20, 25, and 30. You can flip these any way you want to. If you don't feel like doing simple math and keeping score as you're adding cards to your victory point pile, you can use these to keep track of how many cards or how many points you have by flipping and doing whatever you need to do with them. So, you don't have to use these if you don't want to, but, for those of you that don't want to do simple math, I'm not trying to make fun of you because there are a few of us out there like that, but if you don't want to do simple math, there are these score cards over here for you. As far as the game itself, it's very nice. It's very colorful. These guide cards are very helpful. I really like that. And I like the fact that the butterflies, you can turn these cards like this and then put them under the jar like that, and you can easily see what you have without it taking up too much space. So you don't have to have all these cards out in front of you like this. Okay, there's a green and a purple one, and I've got a red and a red, and blah, 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 blah. No, you can just simply put it on its side like that, and you can easily see what you have, and as you add more cards to it, you can do that. Okay, this is what I have right now. So I like that mechanic. I really like the fact that it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's just very convenient. This is definitely a game of convenience. And I also like, I really like the turn order strategy too. Like again, with the low numbers and the high numbers, if the player that gets to go first gets first dibs on this and these delivery cards over here. So, that going first can be very important. But again, those low cards tend to be very weak. Not all the time, but they tend to be very weak. So, I would only play those low cards if there's a card that you really want here, or if there's a card that you want here that you can deliver on, on the next turn. So yeah, again, there's strategy there, but there's not so much strategy to where it'll overwhelm casual gamers. So what do I think of Butterfly Garden? I think it's an excellent, excellent game. So go check this one out, Butterfly Garden. If you guys want to see my quick review that I wrote on top of this, you can head over to my official website, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com, and of course subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can keep up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.